What is up, guys? This is Pinzo back with another video today, and what I have for you guys is another build guide. This is top 5 heroes in the role and their builds. Today we have Jungle. Jungle was a really hard top 5 for me to make, to be honest with you. I couldn't quite decide on a couple of these and where to rank them. I kind of had the top 5, but I wasn't sure, and you guys are going to want to hear this one. Number 1 will shock you. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into it, starting from the bottom. Number 5, we have Countess. Countess is mysteriously good. She's been getting played a lot. If you guys are followers of Grady played it to great effect in PCC 9. He had a really good showing on it. I think it's pretty good in the jungle. Jumping into what you should be building on it. In the jungle, you have a couple options for starting crest. You can go Tempest. A lot of people like this because Tempest, when you get Tempest, it's very impactful. It makes you very strong in the fights. It's a very good, like, 12 to 18-minute crest in that, like, mid-game. It's very, very good. The other option is Time Flex Band, which is harder to play. You have to be better at Countess to get away with it, but I do think it has higher upside. Generally speaking, for most players, you are going Tempest, and you're just going kind of a damage build. You can go this Fire Blossom build, which I think is fine. I do think it makes it easy to play, but I do think the upside of full damage is maybe better. But for most players, this is probably the build I would go, is Tempest Fire Blossom, and then you're just going damage. You go Tempest Fire Blossom, you can go Combustion here, you can go Tainted Scepter, probably Tainted Scepter. You need a little bit of haste at this point in your build, so Tainted Scepter, Wraith Leggings, Overseer. It's probably this. Overseer third, gives you just more damage on your ultimate, lets you one-shot people, Wraith Leggings, and then, of course, you're ending your build Caustica O-Crown. And this build's really good. Fire Blossom gives you crazy clear in the early game. Countess, not an awesomely clearing jungler, but with Fire Blossom, she does clear the jungle quite well. Yes, Spirit of Emir did get buffed. I think you can just go this build if you go just with Spirit of Emir first. It's fine. This item is solid. A Spirit of Emir is not a bad item. I do think the Fire Blossom version is easier to play. It lets you eat more damage. It gives you easier 1v1s against enemy carries. It keeps you a little bit safer from the enemy junglers if they're trying to invade. And I think it's just straight up easier to play. This character is pretty good. She can be a little hard to play on timing. Her abilities are not hard to hit, obviously, but the timing of when to go in, when to go out, that kind of thing can be a little awkward just because of she's squishy. So Fire Blossom makes that easier because you're not quite as squishy. So I would recommend the Fire Blossom if you're new to Countess. If you are confident in your Countess, you can go the Spirit of Emir, and it's still pretty good. So that's our number 5 on the list. Number 4, we're moving up to Zarus. Been nerfed a million times, right? Zarus, a character, maybe the most nerfed character in Pred outside of Bellica, probably, maybe Decker, right? One of the most nerfed characters in all of Pred. Character's nuts still. Again, very easy to play is honestly the best way to describe this character. Very easy to play. Most games, you're going Ice-Scorn Talons. You can go Judgment. It's okay. It makes you live a tiny bit longer, but Ice-Scorn Talons is such a good crest that it's hard to argue against Ice-Scorn Talons a lot of the time. As far as the build goes, pretty standard for Zarus right now. You're going Augmentation first. This item is very good. It gives you very good clear. It has 20 haste on it. Pretty good base stats. As far as second item goes, if you're against a super tanky team, you can go Mutilator. Personally, I don't like Mutilator as much on Zarus in the jungle. I think it's just okay. Your second item, you just need a haste item. Generally speaking, it's Berserker's Axe, in my opinion. Gives you more HP, haste, movement speed, lets you run people down, gives you more damage. Very, very good item. Your third item, if you need defense in this slot, is either Draconum or Mist Meadow Buckler. Depending on what kind of defense you need, you are going a hybrid build on Zarus. I would not go full damage. I would not go full defense. Both of those feel very useless. Full damage build, you instantly die when you ult in. Full defense build, you just don't do anything. You have a cage, but you require so much follow-up on it from your team that it doesn't feel super useful. So if you need physical defense, I would go Draconum. If you don't need magical defense, I would go Citadel fourth as well. Otherwise, you can go Draconum and Mist Meadow Buckler. Thing to note, these are all 15 plus haste items, right? Ability haste, very, 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 very good stat on Zarus. You're pretty much trying to get as much haste as you can. And then Citadel, and then most of the time, Mist Meadow Buckler is actually a pretty good magic defense item. I don't think you need another defense item here, another magic defense item. I would end the build with Stonewall. You can go, if you think you need to be even tankier, swap out Citadel for Giant's Ring, and this will make you tanky. These 4 items, you still are able to 1v1 carries, especially once you get defense online, you 1v1 them for free. Very good character right now. Play around your ult timer. Keep in mind that your ult cooldown is quite long after it's been nerfed many times. So you want your ult up before objectives. You want to be able to ult the enemy carry or someone that doesn't have flash and kill them. And then you take the 5v4 around the objective. That is your goal. So keep tabs on your ultimate timer. But other than that, your goal is to just you farm really well on this character. You have insane gank potential, even without your ultimate. Once you have Berserker's Axe, you just dash into a lane and you're so fast. You catch them, they get slowed by Berserker's Axe, and then you just run them down. Really strong character right now. Has been for a really long time. Don't need to beat a dead horse a whole lot more. So we will move on to number 3. And this one I threw in here because this is like mostly for ranked. I'm not really talking about PCC here. Khaimera. Not, in my opinion, a top 3, like a top 3 jungler in the game, but for ranked, and especially for if you're someone who wants a build guide, this character is very easy to play. That's where he gets most of his value from. Very easy to play. Very, very, very strong character before about the 20-minute mark of a game. Falls off really hard late game, but early game, really strong. Again, most games you're going Ice Core and Talons. You can go Tank Crest, but I don't think it makes you... I don't think it's really worth it. If you were going to, I would go Sapphire's Mantle. I wouldn't really go the other 2. But I think it's Ice Core and Talons pretty much all the time. And then the build is you're going a Bruiser build. Overlord, Basilisk, and then you can even go Bonesaw 3rd. I think Bonesaw is a little bit of a awkward item on this hero. I don't think you need it, but it is okay. Most of the time, I'm going Overlord, Basilisk, Draconum. I think this feels really good. And then you're kind of going into the Zarus style of just kind of stacking these power plus armor items, right? You're going Draconum, you're going Citadel, and then you probably need a little bit of magic defense. Again, you don't need a crazy amount on this character. You can even go something like Dread, Mist Meadow Buckler, pretty solid, right? These are both good options. And then your last item, generally speaking, is going to be Stonewall. You can go Giant's Ring. It's not as good on Khaimera, but Giant's Ring is still solid. But something like this, right? You're a damage-focused brawler, a bruiser, essentially, right? You have HP items. These 2 items give you a lot of damage. Really good jungle clear early with Overlord, of course. Basilisk lets you do damage to tanks. Draconum, Citadel, both of these are power items, right? With these 4 items, you do kill every carry ever as long as you have your ultimate up. You can, I will say, if you're going Overlord first, you can max your jump. Wherever this is. You can max jump. If you are going Overlord and you max jump, your goal is to run people down. You have to be ganking if you're going to max jump. If you're not going to gank, or if you're in a game where it's like, you know, your lanes are a little behind, you're ending up having to farm more, you're maybe looking for more invades than you normally would, maxing Q is still the better option, even with Overlord. But if you are trying to run around and kill people, max your jump. It lets you run people down really easily. This is a really low cooldown. This does execute damage, by the way. The lower HP that your enemy is, the more damage your jump deals. And the lower cooldown, plus it slows. It just lets you stick on people really, really easily. And once you get Bazzi online, 15 ability haste, you start being able to just jump permanently. And it's really good if you want to max jump. Otherwise, Q max is very consistent. That's probably your more consistent way to go for it. But Khaimera is a very good jungler, especially in ranked. Moving into number 2, this one was tough. I didn't know who I wanted to put at number 2 versus number 1, and I ended up putting Sevarog in number 2. Again, in ranked especially, this character is actually, he doesn't get punished as much as he should. At higher levels, what you see people do is when someone picks Sevarog in the jungle, you invade them. His early clear's not very good. His early fight isn't very good against most junglers, so you would try to invade as much as you can. You want to slow down the Sevarog to the best of your abilities. in ranked, that doesn't happen a lot. And Sevarog, once he gets one item online, his jungle clear is pretty good. He gets free stacks. He actually has a pretty good gank as long as his ultimate is available. And he just kind of gets to run around the map and scale for free. So in ranked, I do think he's pretty solid. You're going a pretty similar build to what you guys saw in the offlane video. Sevarog, you're going Saphir's Mantle most games. Again, against unmissable damage, things like Gadget, Iggy, Sparrow, Skylar. Razorback is still a good crest, okay? I know they've nerfed it. It is still good against a couple of characters. Generally speaking, I think you'll get just as much, if not more value, out of Saphir's Mantle. It's a little easier to use. As far as the build, it's Fire Blossom every game. Fire Blossom, and then you do have options here. You can go Fist of Razul second. It's fine. I'm a little bit, I've been lower on Fist of Razul recently. I think on Sevarog specifically in the jungle, I think it's still fine. If you're playing Richter, I think that you go Tainted Guard second all the time, but then I think it's this. I think it's Tainted Guard, Giant's Ring. You grab some magic defense. This is either Crystalline or Tainted Bastion, depending, again, if they have tick damage, something like Gadget Iggy. Crystalline Cure is very good. If they have multiple AP characters, you're probably building both of these last two anyway. But this is a very solid Sevarog build. If you do only need one magic defense item, you can go Elefrost last. You can go Stonewall last. Depends if you want some more damage, rundown potential, Elefrost it is. You want to be tanky or Stonewall it is. It can be up to you. But this build, again, you just slaughter backliners. Your goal on Sevarog in most of these fights is to dive the backline. You want to keep their carry out of the fight. Once the carry gets 5 items online, they probably win, like the majority of the time, especially if they have a second teammate standing there with them. They will kill you eventually, but you can take them out of the fight. You run at them, they hit you, you hit them, you get them half HP, and then once you start getting low, you ult them away, you ult them out of the fight, and then you walk back to your team. And now their carries didn't hit anyone in your fight. Your team had a 4v3 or something right on the other side of the fight, and you're good to go. Really good character at just making space in fights. He just creates so much space. And then once you get Fire Blossom online early game, your clear is actually pretty good. So very solid jungler right now, in my opinion. And then moving on to number 1. I did say that number one will shock you. Stay tuned. Number 1, this character was going to be on the list. I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to put her. I ended up putting her at number 1 just because of like the recent sort of meta developments. If you guys watch scrims at all, this character has been getting played a lot and she looks really strong. And I think that this does carry over to ranked. I think that if you're a good player, you will win a lot of games picking this champ. It's Serath. I know it sounds really weird, but people have been testing a bunch of builds. I've been testing a bunch of builds. This character is really good at cleaning fights and diving backline and 1v1ing carries, and characters that are good at, when you have just like a guaranteed kill on the carry every fight, it makes it really easy for the rest of your team to play. And that's part of the reason that you see her kind of ranked so highly right now. So I put her at number 1. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you guys think of Serath. I would love to know if you guys think she should be lower or if I'm justified. But anyway, moving into the actual list, you can go Judgment on this character. It's pretty annoying. You get a big heal when you click Judgment when you're low HP. I personally, again, I think Ice Scorn Talons is probably legitimately the best crest in the game, just all around. And I would build this all the time. As far as the build goes, it's a bit of a weird build. It is a bit of a weird build. Right now, what most people are going is Sky Splitter Bonesaw. This is a lot of attack speed. You get a lot of, once you get Bonesaw stacked up, this is 45% attack speed now. They buffed it. Very good, fully stacked. Sky Splitter, obviously, a very good item, right? Like, no one's going to argue about Sky Splitter being good or bad. As far as your third item goes, you can go Basilisk here. Solid, gives you the ability haste that you need. Some haste on Serath is good. You don't need a lot because when you get a kill reset, your cooldowns do, obviously, they don't get reset, but they get reduced by like 60%. So once you get a kill, you're good to go. Without ability haste, it can be a little awkward. The other thing you can go right here is Draconum. And this just feeds into kind of the multi-kill idea behind Serath. Obviously, when you get a kill, you pick up an orb, it resets, or it gives you a bunch of cooldown reduction. It doesn't reset them. It gives you a bunch of cooldown reduction. And then if you go Draconum, every time you get a kill or an assist, you heal for a lot. It's a big heal. It's a way more than you'd think it is. So you can go Draconum in this spot, and you feed into that I can kill everyone kind of thing. If you're going to go Draconum 3rd, I would still go Basilisk 5th, or 4th, I mean, excuse me. And then Citadel, I think here. And then again, you're playing a character with a lot of mobility. You have a Q that makes you unhittable. So if you're using your abilities properly, you don't really need magic defense on this character. You can go, if you're playing against Countess or something like that, you can go Dread last item if you want the magic defense. Otherwise, I think you're going like Stonewall last item. Where is it? Physical armor. I think you're going Stonewall or Giant's Ring last item. This with Stonewall with these 2 items gives you a lot of defense, and it ensures that you will always 1v1 the carry. Even late game, even when they have all their items online, with 3 physical defense items, you will never lose to that carry as long as you're clicking your buttons properly, right? You will never lose. Again, if you want to go Dread, it will make your 1v1 against the carries a tiny bit harder, but you should still be fine. Dread gives you a lot of extra damage. It obviously has penetration on it. Very good item if you want to go magic defense last. Otherwise, I do think it's probably Stonewall, and this character just kind of slams right now. With Sky Splitter online, you're really good at pulling objectives. You do a lot of objective damage. You can tanks, you can kill squishies, you have a crazy amount of mobility, you can carry your team through fights. It's just a really strong character at the moment. I recommend putting some time into her. If you're new to Serath, I would play her in some casual games or a brawl just to get used to clicking your buttons a little bit, and then jump into ranked. And I do think she's a really strong character at the moment. So let me know what you guys think down below. This one was this is probably the hardest list to make. So let me know what you guys think down below. Other than that, guys, that's all I've got for you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed these build guides. Make sure to bookmark them. Come back whenever you need them. But yeah, that's all I've got for you. As always, I've been Pinzo. This video's done so. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.